Well, I was watching the Atheist Experience, or was a nonprofit Saturday trying to catch up on video log and stuff I haven't watched since I've been busy with other things, real life, making videos and games and stuff. And watching it, they brought up that Josh Macdowell had done been complaining that like 91% of Christians polled were sort of, they didn't believe that there was any truth, ultimate truth, and that there was no real ultimate source of truth, and it was really depressing him, and he was blaming secularists and atheists and whatnot for this. But with my dealings with a lot of Christians over the years, especially more fundamentalists, as they pointed out, this seems to be more of a problem that's inherent in fundamentalism. That there is no ultimate truth, because whenever they've sort of dealt with a problem, apologists don't really seem to look for the truth. They just come up with whatever sounds good and makes sense. And when you realize that 10 different apologists will have a different excuse for the same story, how can you get the feeling that there is an ultimate truth? Also, when you deal with evolution and stuff, and creationists and whatnot, they have hundreds of different explanations for why the flood isn't there. And they don't really look for truth. They look for what sounds good most of the time. And it seems to be this whole case of a lot of Christians. I know there are Christians that try to search for truth, but ultimately at some point there has to be a point where, well, when cornered a lot, will just say, well, I don't, I just go with what feels good. Does this feel right to me that Jesus exists, or this is what Jesus is telling me, or what Jesus wants for the world. And each person has a different take on what God and Jesus wants, as opposed to, this is the way it should be. As there are certain things that are more unified, but many things are completely ununified in which way they will go. And I guess it sort of created this whole idea that there cannot be ultimate truth. Christians will often say God is the ultimate truth. But even then, the ultimate truth of what God wants is different for each Christian. Some Christians feel that abortion is ultimately wrong. Some feel it's ultimately neutral. Some say that being gay is ultimately wrong. Others say it's not wrong. Can you tell me that? Can you show me an example of, something beyond maybe killing, stealing, and whatnot? But even then, there's extenuating circumstances. Can you give me an example of where a Christian completely 100% say that this is ultimately wrong, and every single Christian will agree with this? We created this idea, at least they have, of this, that if God feels like God wants this, this is the way it should be. And it sort of led to this entire idea where they'll question any science and stuff if it contradicts their beliefs, and it sort of also at the same time created problems for Christians and churches where so many just don't feel there is an ultimate truth because they keep saying that everything is different for each person. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd like to hear it from a few Christians on this too. What you think. Do you think there is an ultimate truth for everything? Or do you agree with Josh Macdowell that things are going more and more towards Christians not believing this? Or has it always been there and this is something that's just being noticed now?